So DC is making big plans for its animation division, and I can't be more excited. So if you missed it, a couple weeks ago, DC announced a bunch of animated projects they had in the works. A bunch of them were announced at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. All of these were kind of Elseworld animation projects, so none of them kind of connect to the James Gunn DC universe. With the biggest of these being Absolute Batman, an adaptation of the Absolute Batman comics created by Scott Snyder, who's actually going to be showrunning this. I think it could be really interesting if DC ends up going the manga route of just adapting their comic stories into full-blown series. Don't get me wrong, some of the shows that are being announced are interesting. Honestly, I'm a bit mixed on shows like Mr. Miracle, Joker, and Superpowers, with some of the projects being super vague, but seeing as the whole DC animated and live-action universes are being combined, I'm kinda curious how they're gonna handle this. Are they gonna get the big screen actors to also do the voices in their animated counterparts? What shows are gonna fall into this universe? Obviously, shows like Absolute Batman and Batman Nightfall are gonna be in a different universe than the current DCU. But what exactly did DC mean by the whole universes are being combined if so far all we've seen animation-wise is Creature Commandos? They did kind of make it seem like it was gonna be a whole thing, kind of like what Marvel does with WandaVision. Most of the projects that I have been excited for DC to release are just separate universes from the main DCU. The My Adventures universe has been pretty good, and they actually announced a spin-off of the My Adventures universe called My Adventures with Green Lantern. And they got the guy who voiced the Grim Reaper in Billy and Mandy to be a voice in My Adventures with Green Lantern. I kid you not. Honestly, this does sound awesome and I will be watching it, but I am kind of curious if they're going to do something similar with the Absolute universe. Like, I kind of feel like it would have been better if DC just released a Absolute TV show adapting all of the Absolute universe. They would have a lot more material to adapt and it would be kind of cool. Oh, like they could do each season could be a different part of the Absolute universe. Like season 1 could be Absolute Batman, season 2 could have been Absolute Superman. That would have been awesome. But yeah, I guess I'll take Absolute Batman. Besides that, I do feel like we're kind of getting a lot of Batman content. Animation-wise, those movies are just never coming out. And if you don't know, we actually still have a James Gunn Batman project called Batman Brave and the Bold coming out. Apparently, kind of like the Superman movie, it's going to take place years after the character has become the superhero. And it's actually going to be the first time Damian Wayne appears on the silver screen, which is actually the 4th Robin. I know Marvel had a connected universe with its TV shows, but I feel like it came in just way too late to kind of mean anything. Like, they didn't do this in the early parts of the MCU when they were doing Iron Man, Captain America. No. They did it with WandaVision and Loki, which honestly were great shows. I did like both of them. But DC has the advantage of hindsight and failing a couple times. And they still have a bunch of heavy hitters, like even the shows that like nobody should care about, like Creature Commandos, which should have failed, did pretty good. I mean, enough to get a second season, I guess. I mean, I thought the Superman movie was pretty great, but you know, I know a lot of people are really mixed on it. Honestly, I was expecting a lot more from Supergirl because I heard the comic that it was based on was actually pretty good. Now, I'm sure a bunch of the projects that James Gunn was planning just a couple years ago are probably all cancelled. At least the unknown ones that don't have a history of success. Remember, Warner Brothers just went through a huge merger and an absolute bomb at the box office. But is that really enough to bring the DC image down? Not really. DC is still one of the most popular entertainment companies in the world, so even if they do get a few box office bombs, the brand name of DC alone still makes a ton of money on its own. Now obviously they can't make 5 or 6 box office bombs in a row, but I do believe the DC brand does have enough popularity to kind of sustain itself on just being that alone. Hell, DC Comics recently have been more popular than ever. Remember, they get a ton of their money from sponsorships, other shows, merchandising. Is it enough to make a couple more movies? Probably not. But the idea that DC could go bankrupt just from like 2 or 3 bad movies is just blatantly wrong. And according to James Gunn himself, we do not see the budget for a movie. All those news outlets that say the budget for a movie and then say it flopped don't know the actual budget of a movie. It's just all speculation. I did want to touch on the video games that DC was working on, but after looking into it, there's nothing. There's just nothing. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight was kind of supposed to be the big release of 2026 for DC. And while the game is pretty good, getting pretty good scores from critics, it's definitely not what fans are expecting when they hear the big DC game coming out this year. I guess since DC just had a reboot with their universe, they probably have a bunch of their games in early development right now. Since the video games are going to be connected to the DC universe, it's probably not likely we're going to see any new DC video games, I believe, in 2026. But I could be wrong. I mean, the last couple years of games for DC have just been really disappointing. From most of the games being spin-offs like Lego Batman and Batman VR, to a bunch of the new and creative ideas all being cancelled. There was going to be a Wonder Woman game, but that was cancelled, I believe, a couple years ago. Anyway, with all that being said, what do you guys think about the future of DC Comics? What do you guys think about the new James Gunn DC universe? Honestly, with all of the Elseworld stuff, and especially the Batman stuff, I feel like there's a lot more DC could be doing with their properties. But I am still excited either way. Make sure to like this video, guys, and subscribe to Melon Media. Or even just join the Discord down below. We're always planning some fun, geeky videos for you guys.